Hello again, future grade 6 students. Mr. Sirocco here in my empty classroom, patiently awaiting your arrival in September. I'm looking forward to it. Really excited to get back into school and to work with students again. So I know earlier this week we sent out a survey. Some of you filled it out. Thank you to those people who did. If you didn't get a chance to fill the survey out, you have questions about coming to Robert Andrews, you can also email me at any time at the end of the video. I'll put my email up on screen. And you can email me if you're sitting in July thinking, hey, what does this look like? You can send me an email and I'll try and answer your questions as best as I can if they come up later on. We are in very unclear waters right now. Not quite sure what next year looks like, but we are figuring it out as we go. And we're hoping that we have a great plan, that whether we teach you here at school or we teach you remotely or a combination of both, know that you have an excellent set of teachers who are excited to help you on your educational journey. So in the survey, there was a list of a spot for you to put questions about Robert Andrews. So we're going to go through these questions and try and answer some of these questions for you so that you alleviate some of your concerns about coming here next year. So why don't we get started? All right, so first question that came up was, who is my homeroom teacher? Well, we have 3 homeroom teachers here at grade 6 in Robert Andrews. We have Monsieur Alec, we have Miss Taylor, and Mr. Sinnock. I am the grade 6 team leader, so I don't have a homeroom per se, but actually I get all 3 homerooms. So I get to come in and out of all 3 homerooms in the mornings and help out where I can and kind of work with kids one-on-one and do some things that we do here. So I get to be all your homeroom teacher, which is kind of fun. But specific homerooms, which means you'll either be in 6A, 6B, or 6C. To find this out, you can go into your parent portal, and in the class schedules, if you change the academic year to 2020-2021, you'll see there's a class called AM attendance and I think PM attendance. And if you click on there, the name there is your homeroom. That'll be your homeroom teacher for next year. All right, next question. Next question was going to be, is there going to be any sports or clubs, or are there clubs next year that you can be involved with? Well, the goal is to have you all back in school and running as always, but unfortunately things are changing, as you know, in this crazy last few months. Things change on, it seems, a daily basis sometimes. So we actually don't know what next year looks like. We're hoping that we can get back to normal, but as you may have heard, our province is waiting until August 1st to kind of make those definite plans of what next year looks like. So hopefully we have some clubs and some sports next year. We will hopefully have phys ed. It might look a little differently than what you're used to, but we are hoping that we can kind of get back into having some sports and clubs and all those fun things that we love about school. So fingers crossed, as long as the province of Manitoba says it's okay, we will have sports and clubs, but we have to wait and see what they're going to tell us sometime in the middle of summer. So we'll see. Okay, next question. Are there different kids in each class? You are going to be put into a class, and that will be kind of your team, your home. That will be kind of your group for the whole time. So the same group of kids will have the same teacher, and they'll be together for LA, for social studies, for science, for art, for band, for phys ed. You guys always stick together as one kind of super team. All right, so this next question pertains to me too, because I actually have the exact same question that some of you have. What will the hockey program look like next year, and will there be a hockey program with all this COVID stuff? Those are great questions, and those are actually questions that I have for myself, being the hockey instructor and even playing hockey myself, what that looks like in the fall. And my son plays hockey. I don't have that answer right now. The goal is to, of course, have the hockey program in some way, shape, or form. So what we are going to do at Robert Andrews is we are going to follow the lead of whatever Hockey Manitoba and Hockey Winnipeg says. We will have to take the lead of whatever our school division has in regards to physical education and clubs and things like that. So again, this is one that I can't give you like for sure yes, or for sure no. Like mostly everything else, we're gonna have to wait and see and kind of hope for the best so that we can kind of keep going and get on the ice in the fall. Fingers crossed. All right, so next question talks about some of the logistics with school and how we're going to kind of operate the school. I know logistics is a hard word. I don't know why I said it. I guess one of the questions was, will we have to wear masks? Another question was, will we have hand sanitizer in every room? Another question was, will we be able to use a school bus? These are all really good questions, and questions I don't think that as adults have the answers for yet. We wish we could, but we don't. This is a very unique situation. So again, we're kind of waiting to see what the protocols are going to be from Manitoba Health. We're waiting to see what the Minister of Education has to say. We're going to wait and see what our division has to say about masks. We will probably do a lot more hand washing. My classroom, I lucked out, I have a sink, so we'll have a sink ready to wash hands right away. So we'll do lots of things because hand washing is so important. When it comes to hand sanitizer, I don't know the rules around hand sanitizer quite yet. Same thing with masks, I'm not quite sure. Will you be able to wear masks if that's what makes you feel comfortable? I'm pretty sure that you can probably wear a mask if that's what's going to make you feel comfortable. Lockers, same thing. One of the questions was about lockers too. You all get a locker. It's a big deal in middle school is getting your own locker. We have a custodial staff that is sanitizing lockers too, so we'll kind of wait and see what lockers look like, and we'll kind of go from there. So to kind of go on to the next question, let's go back to lockers. One of the biggest anxieties when it comes to middle school is, what if I forget my locker combination? Or what if I can't get into my locker? Now, here is a grade 6 team leader life hack for you. This is something that I would recommend, and this is something that I did for my own daughter who's going into grade 6 next year. I would recommend going to the dollar store, go buy a real cheap combination lock, and practice that lock this summer. That could be a nice little summer project for you. How can you open up a combination lock? Because sometimes just figuring out which way it turns and things like that can be very confusing. So that would be my life hack for that. Now, are we going to leave you stranded in the hallway because you can't get in your locker? Of course not. We are going to help you, and we have your combinations listed, and we'll be able to get you into those lockers. And I will say that 99.9% of the grade 6 students by the end of the first week are better at lockers than your teachers. So you will be fine. I promise you, you will understand how to use a lock and how to get into your locker very quickly. It's a very good skill. But again, if you want to kind of beat the rush and kind of get ahead of yourself, go get that lock at the dollar store, practice opening that locker up and back and forth. You can't bring that lock to school though, because we have special school locks for you. Alright, so next question comes up, and there was one of the things in the survey about things you're nervous for, and there was a couple of people that are nervous about getting lost in our school. The Robert Andrews is actually 3 schools that were kind of like patched together at different times. So I can understand why, and of course my tour with the speed, maybe it was a little overwhelming when it comes to how big the school is. We have a wonderful group of grade 7 and 8 students who will be able to help you out, a wonderful group of teachers, and usually when you're traveling through the school, you're traveling as a giant class group, or with at least a couple people. Again, with social distancing, we'll see what that looks like. But I promise you, if you get lost, it's not like a giant massive forest. You're not going to be alone there. There will be lots of people that can guide you on your way and get you where you need to go. So don't worry about getting lost. We will make sure that you end up where you need to end up. Oh, super hard question, this one. Are we allowed to chew gum in school? The number one rule for chewing gum is that if you want to bring gum to school to chew, you have to give Mr. Sirocco a piece of gum if he asks for it. That's the number one rule. And if it ends up underneath my desks, then we have to take away the gum rule. So as long as you can keep the gum in your mouth without bubbles, and if I say, hey, give me a piece of gum, please, then you have to give me a piece of gum. That's the rule. But otherwise, yes, you can chew gum in school. Probably not in band. That would be bad for the instruments, and probably not in gym, like because you might choke. But in most cases, gum is fine. This might be my favorite question. I need help with math. Can someone help? I could have written that question because I need help with math. And can someone help? And you have such an exceptional team of math teachers at Robert Andrews, and they don't make fun of me at all about my core math skills. But yes, if you need help with math, we have Miss Taylor who's teaching you all the math next year. She is more than willing to work one-on-one with students who want to come in at lunch or in mornings and set those kind of appointments up, because she loves math. Like I love Star Wars, which is a lot. This question is, are the teachers nice? I'm pretty nice. Mr. Sinnock's so-so. Mr. Beelman's an absolute disaster. I would just steer clear from Mr. Beelman. Mr. Beelman's kind of like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. He's kind of nice to see at a distance, but if you get too close, like it's not good. So are the teachers nice? I am. and that's all that matters. I was just informed that you might not understand my humor yet, so I have to answer yes. All the teachers are nice, except for Mr. Bill. A little sketchy. All right, so next question is, what is the first day like? Can we come inside when we get off the bus, and where do we go? Right now, I'm trying to think of what the first day would look like normally compared to what it's going to look like this September. So it might actually look a little different this September, and we're kind of still trying to figure out. Usually you don't find out your rooms until the first day of school, but we thought that it's probably best if you knew your homerooms now, so that when we came to school we weren't all gathering around a giant poster that said which room it was and having fingers on the classes trying to find your name. So that's why it's probably pretty good if you go into that parent portal and find out who your homeroom is by looking at the 2021 class year, and then looking at the AM attendance to see who your homeroom teacher is, so that you know where to go that first day. When you come here that first day, we're going to get you into those homerooms, and then from there what we'll do is kind of figure out our supplies and figure out what the day looks like, and kind of just start getting you used to Robert Andrews and some of the things that we do here. But can I tell you and guarantee what that looks like? I can't. We will have to wait until August 1st to see what the province tells us how we're going to proceed, and then while you are just before the long weekend of September, your teachers will be coming back to school, and we will finalize all plans based on the recommendations of Manitoba Health and the Minister of Education. So that's the plan. All right, another question is, what do I bring the first day of school? Well, we have on the Robert Andrews website, we have if you scroll down, there's a thing called Documents and Forms, and there's a little thing there that says Supply List. So the grade 6 supply list for next year may have already gone home before all this COVID stuff happened, but if not, it's actually on the Robert Andrews website. If you scroll all the way down where Documents and Forms are, there's a little drop-down menu that says Supply List, so the grade 6 supply lists are there. So that's what you would bring to school. Supplies next year are going to be very important because we don't want to share supplies. So it's very important that on that supply list that you have your own pencil crayons and your own pens and pencils. So many pencils. I don't know where these pencils go. It's like socks in a dryer. Just one disappears. A pencil will just magically leave your hand and we don't know where it went. Some kind of pencil paradise. So lots of pencils and things like that so you don't have to share supplies and with anyone. So we would bring all that stuff in, and then we would kind of figure out where they go. So check that supply list. It's on the Robert Andrews webpage. Underneath Documents and Forms, there's a supply list there. So you can find it there and see all the things that you need to bring. What does lunch look like? I hope it looks delicious. But if we're talking about what lunch looks like when you want to eat your lunch, again, still figuring this out. At this point, you're probably like, why did I submit questions if Mr. Sirocco doesn't have answers? I don't know. But you did, and I'm going to answer them anyway as best I can. So normally lunch we eat in homerooms, and you would eat in your homeroom class, and that's where you'd eat your lunch. What we'll have to look at for next year is that is a thing that we're going to have to do. We'll probably we have different disinfectant sprays, so your teachers will disinfect and spray everything down before you eat your lunch, and spray everything down after you eat your lunch, because we'll be learning in those classrooms. But yeah, as of right now, lunch will be eaten, I think, in homerooms, and it'll be kind of like business as always, as much as we can. So, all right, next question comes about busing. This is a hard one. Now, probably I would think over 95% of our students are bused to school. What that looks like for next year with social distancing, I don't know. I was listening into some of the board talks, and I know with busing, I think that to make busing work, they have to really spread the kids out. I think a maximum of like 12 per bus. That is, don't quote me on that, because I don't know that for sure. So I don't know how busing is going to work next year. That is something that is going to have to be decided from the province and through our division of figuring that out, because that certainly impacts our school quite significantly. So keep kind of listening to what the Minister of Education says. Keep checking with the River East Transcona website to see what that looks like. But that is something that's certainly, for sure, a work in progress. Even for myself at home, both my kids are bused. So that is something that I'm very much listening to figure out what that looks like. And the last question, probably the most difficult question, and the one that I think I saw the most of in the survey. Will I be in classes with my friends? Will I be with my friends? Lots of questions that will I be with my friends, or will we be split up? Making class lists going into middle school is very, very tricky business because we don't know you yet. We don't know anything about you. We kind of get some feedback from your grade 5 teachers and your grade 5 administrators, and we kind of get some information from your grade 5 student support. But really, we are kind of just getting to know you. So making grade 6 class lists are hard. When we make grade 6 class lists, what we do is we look at your abilities when it comes to being a learner. So we look at what your skills are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. We look at some of the social dynamics, some of the things that happen within your class and your groups and your group of friends and how you guys interact amongst each other. We look at different learning styles and different work styles because some of you learn better doing one way and some of you learn better doing another way. And some of you work a certain way and some of you work another way. We kind of look at different students that have kind of, we would say, like special needs, who have different kind of things that they need to be successful. Then we start looking at things like gender, making sure that we have boys and girls and kind of equal numbers on both sides. We look at things like family considerations. If you have family members that you go that are going to be in the same grade together, whether they be twins or cousins. And then we look at options because we need to make sure that we have equal numbers that are in art and band, so that you don't have a class of 2 band kids and then an art room full of like 28 kids. So we do all that sort of thing. So it is really, really tricky to kind of figure that out, and that's why when we make class lists, it's really hard to change class lists because those class lists are based on all those factors. And you take one person out, well then you have to take someone else out, and then all of a sudden you can't have a class of 28 and then a class of 19. So that's just something that we have to do. So it's hard, and I get it because my daughter again is going into grade 6, and as a parent, there is that unknown too that I would like her to be with her friends. However, I've taught grade 6 now for 18 years. You quickly make a lot of great friends in grade 6, friends that you don't even know because now you have friends that are going to come from different schools that you probably never even met before. And if you ask your parents and you say who are some of their closest friends, there's a good chance that a lot of those friends they didn't even meet in elementary school. A lot of them, I think back to some of my best friends I met in even high school and as an adult. And some of my great friendships of my lifetime, I look back, I made in middle school. This weekend I'm celebrating a 40th birthday for one of my very best friends. We met in grade 7 and we didn't even go to the same school. We just had the same name and we thought that was cool. So some of your greatest friendships you're going to make in middle school and high school. So this is if maybe some of the friends that you had in elementary school you're not with. I know that's hard, and I get how difficult and how scary and how much anxiety that might be. But ask your parents and ask other adults. You are going to make some amazing friends in middle school. Whether they were with you in elementary school, or they're brand new to the school, and you're just meeting them today, or not today, but in September. So we hope that you're with some of your friends. We have 3 classes between 2 schools. And I guess a few from other schools as well. So I'm assuming you'll be with some familiar faces for sure. And if you're not with your close friends, you probably will make some new close friends in grade 6, or you'll see them in the hallways and you'll see them at lunch and you'll be able to kind of visit there as well. So, and join clubs together, hopefully, fingers crossed, clubs together, and you'll have some time there too. So I hope that you're with your friends. I hope that was able to happen. And if maybe you're not with your close friends, I promise you that you'll make some great friendships while you're in grade 6. All right, future grade 6s, I think that's it. I think I went through all these questions. I kind of jumped over my page, so if I missed your question, my email address should be somewhere on this page right now, flashing on the screen. If you watch this video and you're like, oh, I had a question, feel free to write that email address in, send me an email, and let me know if I can answer any of those questions. I hope you have an amazing summer. I hope that when September hits, I have 25 of you in front of me, and we can go back to business as usual, school as usual, and we get to start off in your middle school experience here at Robert Andrews for the next 3 years. Very exciting. I hope it ends off being on a positive note. So have a great summer. I look forward to meeting you, and if you have any questions, send me an email. Take care.